Today we have an equation. X minus xy plus y equals 27, and we have to find x plus y. Now you might be wondering what's special about this linear equation. It looks like your typical algebra problem, which we can literally solve in just a few steps. By first taking y common from the last two terms, moving x on the left-hand side, and finally solving for y to get y equals 27 minus x divided by 1 minus x. And of course, x cannot be equal to 1. Is that it? Let's just draw a graph to see how it looks. Look at the curve. It's a hyperbola. Two branches that never touch, with a vertical line at x equals 1 where the function breaks down. The red dots traveling along the curve showing that every single point on this hyperbola represents a solution to our original equation, meaning there are infinitely many solutions. Every x value except 1 gives us a corresponding y value. So what is x plus y with infinitely many solutions? Actually, there's a clever way to look at this problem. I'll factor the original equation in a special way. First, take x common from the first two terms, then subtract 1 from both sides, which will make us take minus 1 common from the last two terms. And finally, this neatly factors into x minus 1 into 1 minus y equals 26. This method is known as Simon's favorite factoring trick. Now let's factor 26. We can write it as 26 times 1 or 13 times 2. This means I can set up two equations. X minus 1 equals 26 and 1 minus y equals 1, which gives us the solution 27, 0. Or x minus 1 equals 13 and 1 minus y equals 2, which gives us 14 minus 1. But wait, are these the only solutions? There are more ways to factor 26. I could write it as 2 times 13, or 52 times 0.5, or 4 times 6.5, or even negative 2 times negative 13. Each factorization gives me different solutions. So to find the limited solution set, we need to restrict our domain to, let's say, integer solutions only. That means both x and y must be whole numbers. And even with this restriction, we still have many solutions, beyond the ones I've shown. What if we get even more specific? What if we say x must be a positive integer and y can be any integer? This reduces our solution set to just 4 possibilities, and you can clearly see them in the graph over here. Or we can flip it around. X can be any integer, but y must be a positive integer. Then our solution again reduces to just 4 possibilities, which you can also see in the graph. What if we require both x and y to have the same sign, either both positive or both negative? Surprisingly, this gives us no solutions at all, the empty set, 0 solutions. I hope this video helped you understand the concept. Subscribe for more videos like this. I will see you in the next one.